Captain Park Do-yun stood on the bridge of the UEC Vigilant and stared at the unknown ship on his screen. The vessel was massive. It was black and covered with sharp angles like a weapon floating in space. In his 15 years of service, Do-yun had never seen anything like it. "Sir, they're scanning us," said Ensign Lee Tae-young from the communications station. The young officer's voice was steady, but Do-yun could see his hands shaking slightly. "Let them scan," Do-yun replied calmly. "Kim Yuna, what can you tell me about that ship?" Lieutenant Commander Kim Yuna worked quickly at her tactical console. Her fingers moved fast across the controls. "It's big, Captain. At least 10 times our size. I'm reading weapons all over the hull. Power output is ... significant." Do-yun nodded slowly. The Vigilant was a patrol cruiser. It was designed for escort missions and light combat. This alien ship was a predator, and they were very small prey. "Incoming transmission," Tae-young announced. "Put it through." The main screen flickered and a face appeared. Do-yun had studied many alien species during his years as a history professor before joining the Navy. He had never seen this one. The creature had gray skin stretched tight over a skull-like face. Its eyes were deep red, and when it spoke, Do-yun saw rows of small, sharp teeth. "Human vessel," the alien said. Its voice was deep and filled with contempt. "I am Overlord Keth of the Valkyrie Dominion. You have entered space that belongs to us? You will surrender your ship immediately. Your crew will become servants of the Dominion. This is not a request." The bridge went silent. Do-yun felt his crew looking at him, waiting for his response. He took a slow breath. "Overlord Keth," he said, keeping his voice pleasant and calm. "I am Captain Park Do-yun of the United Earth Coalition. I believe there may be some misunderstanding. According to our charts, this is neutral space. Perhaps we could discuss the boundaries and reach an agreement." Keth's red eyes narrowed. "There is no discussion. The Valkyrie do not negotiate with lesser species. You will surrender, or you will be destroyed. Every species we have encountered has submitted. You will do the same." Do-yun glanced at Yuna. She gave him a tiny nod. She understood. He was buying time. "I see," Do-yun said. "And what exactly are the terms of this surrender?" "What happens to my crew?" Keth made a sound that might have been laughter. "Your crew will serve. Your ship will be taken apart and studied. Your world coordinates will be extracted, and your species will join the Dominion. This is the fate of all inferior beings." Behind Keth, Do-yun could see other Valkyrie on their bridge. They were all watching with amusement. They had done this many times before. They expected humans to beg, to plead, to surrender without a fight. Every other species had. "Captain," Yuna whispered, "I've found something." "Their shields have a gap near the engine section. It's small, but I can hit it." Do-yun kept his eyes on Keth. "That's very interesting information, Overlord. I need a moment to consult with my crew about your generous offer." "You have 1 minute," Keth said. "Then I will fire." The screen went dark. Immediately, Do-yun turned to his crew. "Tae-young, send an emergency message to command. Tell them everything. Yuna, prepare all weapons. Target that engine gap. Helm, plot an escape course to the nearest slip space entry point." "Sir," Tae-young said quietly, "are we really going to fight that thing?" Do-yun looked at the young ensign. "We're not going to surrender and become slaves. And we're not going to give them Earth's location. So yes, ensign, we're going to fight." The crew moved with purpose. Do-yun felt proud of them. They were scared anyone would but did the jobs anyway. That was what made humans different, he thought. They kept going even when they were afraid. 30 seconds, Yuna reported. Do-yun sat in his captain's chair. "When they fire their warning shot, return fire immediately. Everything we have at that engine gap. Then we run. Understood?" The seconds passed slowly. On the screen, the Valkyrie ship hung in space like a sleeping beast. Then it woke up, a beam of red energy shot from the alien vessel. It struck the Vigilant's hull on the port side. The ship shook hard. Alarm screamed. Somewhere below, Do-Yun heard metal tearing. "Hull breach on deck 4. Someone shouted. "Return fire." Do-Yun commanded. The Vigilant was a small ship, but it carried good weapons. Yuna had aimed perfectly. Missiles and energy beams struck the Valkyrie vessel exactly where she had targeted. The explosions were bright against the black hull. "Direct hits," Yuna called out. "Their engines are damaged?" But the Valkyrie ship was already firing again. Another beam hit the Vigilant, then another. The bridge lights flickered. Sparks flew from a console. "Helm, get us out of here." Do-Yun ordered. The Vigilant's engines roared to full power. The ship turned and accelerated toward the slipspace point. Behind them, the Valkyrie vessel tried to follow, but its damaged engines slowed it down. "They're launching fighters," Yuna warned. Small attack craft poured from the alien ship. They were fast and numerous. Do-Yun made a quick decision. "Taeyong, eject all our emergency beacons. Set them to broadcast on different frequencies. Yuna, fire countermeasures. Give them too many targets to track." The space behind them filled with signals and flares. The Valkyrie fighters scattered, confused by the false targets. It bought the Vigilant precious seconds. "Slipspace entry in 30 seconds, the helm officer announced. The ship shook again as a fighter got through and landed a hit. More alarms. More damage. But they were almost there. 10 seconds. On the screen, Do-Yun saw the Valkyrie ship turning. It was trying to fire one more shot. One more hit might destroy them. 5 seconds. The alien ship fired. The beam reached toward them, and the Vigilant jumped into slipspace. The beam passed through empty space where they had been a moment before. On the bridge, the crew let out their breath. They were alive. They had escaped. "Damage report," Do-Yun said quietly. "It was bad. 12 crew members were dead. The ship was badly hurt and would need serious repairs. But they had survived." "Captain," Taeyong said, "I'm picking up a transmission from the Valkyrie ship. It's being broadcast on all frequencies. Let me hear it." Keth's voice filled the bridge. The alien was furious. "Humans, you have attacked a vessel of the Valkyrie Dominion. You have drawn the blood of your betters. For this crime, your entire species will be punished. I declare war upon humanity. I will find your worlds, and I will burn them. Your people will learn what it means to defy the Dominion. You have chosen extinction." The transmission ended. The bridge was silent. Yuna looked at Do-Yun. "Sir, what do we do now?" Do-Yun stared at the empty screen for a long moment. Then he stood. "We go home," he said. "We warn Earth and we get ready." He paused. "Because I don't think the Valkyrie understand what they just started." The Vigilant limped through slipspace toward Earth, carrying news that would change human history forever. The galaxy was about to learn an important lesson. Some species should not be underestimated. The news spread across the galaxy like fire through dry grass. A small human patrol ship had fought a Valkyrie warship and escaped. Most species did not believe it at first. The Valkyrie had conquered over 40 star systems. They had crushed entire civilizations. The idea that a tiny human vessel could damage one of their ships and survive seemed impossible. But it was true. And now the Valkyrie had declared war on Earth. In the Great Hall of the United Earth Coalition, leaders gathered to decide what to do. The room was full of shouting. Some wanted to apologize immediately. They said humans should pay whatever price the Valkyrie demanded. Others said that surrender would only lead to slavery. Admiral Baek-Soo-jin stood near the back of the room and listened. She was 60 years old, with gray hair cut short and a face that showed decades of hard service. She had commanded fleets, fought pirates, and ended the Mars Rebellion. She knew war. And she knew that apologizing to the Valkyrie would not save humanity. "They will not accept an apology," she said finally. Her voice was not loud, but the room went quiet. "I have studied their history. Every species that surrendered to the Valkyrie became slaves, every single one. Apologizing will only show them that we are weak." "Then what do you suggest?" demanded a politician. We cannot fight them. They have hundreds of ships. We have barely 50. Admiral Beak looked at him calmly. We fight anyway. Because the alternative is worse than death. The debate continued for hours. In the end, the coalition made its decision. They would not surrender. They would prepare for war. Admiral Beak was given command of Earth's defense. Her first action was to call together a team of advisors. Among them was Dr. Cho Minho, a military historian who had spent his life studying wars and battles from every human era. He was thin, wore glasses, and looked like he had never held a weapon in his life, but his mind was sharp. "Tell me about the Velthari," Admiral Beak said to him. "Tell me how to beat them." Dr. Cho pushed his glasses up his nose. "The Velthari are strong because they are organized. Their society is based on strict hierarchy. Orders flow from the top down, and no one questions them. In battle, they use overwhelming force. They attack with superior numbers and firepower, and they expect their enemies to break. Weaknesses? Their strength is also their weakness. They cannot adapt quickly. Decisions must come from commanders, and commanders must follow doctrine. If something unexpected happens, they become confused. Also, they have never fought a species that did not surrender quickly. They have no experience with long wars or determined resistance." Admiral Beak nodded slowly. "So we need to be unpredictable. We need to make them confused. We need to make this war last longer than they expect." "Yes," Dr. Cho agreed. "And there is something else. The Velthari rule through fear. The species they have conquered are slaves, but they are not loyal. If we can show that the Velthari can be beaten, those slaves might begin to hope for freedom." Meanwhile, Ambassador Shin Hannah traveled to a neutral space station to attempt diplomacy. She was a skilled negotiator who had solved many difficult problems through talking. She believed that even the worst conflicts could be resolved with words. She was wrong. The Velthari representative met her in a cold, gray room. He did not sit. He did not greet her. He simply stated the Velthari terms. Complete surrender. All humans will become property of the Dominion. Your leaders will be executed as an example. Your population will be divided and sent to work camps across our territory. Your planet will be renamed and colonized. These terms are not negotiable. Ambassador Shin kept her composure. Surely there is room for discussion. Perhaps some form of tribute or a trade agreement. There is no discussion, the Velthari said. You will accept or you will die, all of you. Shin returned to Earth with a heavy heart. She reported to Admiral Beak. They will not negotiate, she said. They see us as animals? Less than animals? Beak nodded. She had expected this. Then we prepare for war. Far away, the Velthari were preparing too. Overlord Keth had been given command of a massive fleet. 200 warships were gathering at the edge of human space. Keth had told his superiors that he would conquer humanity within 1 month. He would make them suffer for humiliating him. Dr. Cho studied intelligence reports about the coming fleet. He worked day and night looking for any advantage. One evening, Admiral Beak found him surrounded by screens showing Velthari battle formations. Have you found something? She asked. Look at this, he said, pointing at the screens. Every Velthari battle follows the same pattern. They form a line. They advance together. They fire together. It is very powerful, but it is also predictable. So we don't form a line, Beak said. Exactly. We use small groups. We hit them from different directions. We retreat before they can respond, then hit them again somewhere else. In human history, this was called guerrilla warfare. Smaller forces used it against larger armies. It does not win battles quickly, but it makes the enemy frustrated and tired. Beak smiled grimly. I like it. What else? Psychological warfare. The Velthari are proud. They have never been embarrassed before. We need to make them angry, make them make mistakes. We send fake signals, false intelligence. We make them see enemies everywhere. Admiral Beak put her hand on the doctor's shoulder. Good work. Keep studying. Find me every advantage you can. As the days passed, Earth prepared. Ships were repaired and armed. Soldiers trained. Civilians on colony worlds were offered evacuation, but many refused to leave their homes. They would stay and fight if needed. Captain Park Do-yun, whose encounter with Keth had started everything, was promoted and given command of a new ship. Lieutenant Commander Kim Yuna joined him as his first officer. They visited schools and made speeches, telling the story of their escape. They became symbols of human resistance. "People keep calling us heroes," Do-Yun said to Yuna one evening. "We just survived, we ran away," Yuna shook her head. "We didn't surrender, we fought back. That's what matters. That's what people need to see." The Velthari fleet grew closer every day. Scout ships reported its position, its size, its power. The numbers were terrifying. 200 warships against humanity's 50. By any normal calculation, humans should lose, but Admiral Beak did not plan to fight a normal war. She gathered her commanders and explained her strategy. They would not meet the Velthari in open battle. They would use hit-and-run attacks. They would lay traps. They would make every system the Velthari entered into a nightmare. They would never give up, never surrender, and never stop fighting. "They think we will break quickly," she told her officers. "They think we will beg for mercy after the first defeat. They are wrong. Humans have been fighting wars since before we had writing. We have survived ice ages, plagues, and world wars. We have never stopped fighting, even when all hope was lost. The Velthari do not understand this. They will learn." The fleet came closer. The galaxy watched and waited. Most expected humanity to fall quickly. The Velthari always won, but Dr. Cho had found something in his research that gave him hope. In all of human history, the most dangerous enemy was not the one with the biggest army. It was the one who refused to give up. It was the one who kept fighting when any sensible being would surrender. The Velthari were about to face that kind of enemy for the first time, and they had no idea what was coming. New Sol was humanity's largest colony world. 80 million people lived there in great cities and farming communities. It was a beautiful planet with green mountains and wide rivers. The Velthari chose it as their first target because they wanted to make an example. They wanted to show humans what happened to species that resisted. Overlord Keth's fleet arrived in the system on a cold morning. 200 warships appeared from slipspace and moved toward the planet. Keth expected the humans to surrender when they saw his force. He expected begging and fear. Instead, he found resistance. Orbital defense platforms opened fire immediately. Missiles streaked toward Velthari ships. Minefields exploded against their shields. Human fighters launched from hidden stations and attacked in small, fast groups. Keth was surprised but not worried. This was more resistance than he expected, but it would not matter. He ordered his fleet forward. Admiral Beak Sujing commanded the defense from a space station orbiting New Sol. She watched the battle on her screens and gave orders to her captains. Her strategy was simple. Do not fight the Velthari directly. Hit them and run. Make them chase shadows. Make them bleed. Squadron 7, attack their left flank, then retreat to Point Gamma. Squadron 3, come around behind them and hit their supply ships. Do not engage their main warships directly. The human ships were smaller and fewer, but they were fast and clever. They attacked in pairs and trios, striking weak points and escaping before the Velthari could respond. When the Velthari turned to face them, they were already gone. Keth grew frustrated. This was not how battles were supposed to work. Enemies were supposed to stand and fight. Enemies were supposed to break and run. These humans kept appearing and disappearing like ghosts. Destroy those stations, he commanded. Land troops on the planet. If they will not come to us, we will go to them. Drop ships descended toward New Sol. They carried thousands of Velthari soldiers armed and eager to conquer. On the ground, Sergeant Major Ojiwu was waiting for them. Jiwu was a small woman with short black hair and eyes that missed nothing. She had grown up in the poorest district of New Sol's capital city. She knew every street, every alley, every tunnel. She had trained her soldiers to use the city itself as a weapon. They're landing in the industrial sector, one of her officers reported. Good, Jiwu said. That's where we want them. Send word to all units. Let them land. Let them spread out. Then we close the trap. The Velthari troops marched into the city expecting weak resistance. They found empty streets and silent buildings. Their commanders ordered them forward, then the city came alive. Explosions collapsed buildings onto Valkyrie columns. Snipers fired from windows and rooftops. Tunnels flooded with water, drowning soldiers in underground passages. Traps triggered everywhere. The Valkyrie found themselves in a maze where death waited around every corner. Jiwoo moved through the city with her best soldiers, appearing where the enemy least expected. She would strike a Valkyrie squad, destroy it, and vanish before reinforcements arrived. The enemy never knew where she would appear next. "This is not warfare," a Valkyrie commander complained to Keth. "These humans do not fight with honor. They hide in ambush like animals." "Then burn the city," Keth ordered. "Force them into the open." But burning the city was not easy. When the Valkyrie brought in aircraft to bomb buildings, human fighters rose to meet them. Pilot Kang Yoonji led her squadron against the bombers. Yoonji was young, only 25, but she flew like she had been born in a cockpit. Her squadron was outnumbered 3-1, but they fought with desperate courage. They knew what those bombers would do to the civilians hiding below. "Stay close and protect each other," Yoonji told her pilots. "Don't try to be heroes. Just stop those bombers." The battle in the sky was brutal. Human fighters fell burning to the ground. But they kept coming, kept fighting. Yoonji herself destroyed 4 bombers in the first hour. Then 7. Then 10. Her ship took damage, but she refused to retreat. "Yoonji, your engines are failing," her wingman shouted. "Pull back." "Negative," she replied. "There are still bombers heading for the eastern shelter. 6,000 civilians there. I'm not letting them through." She pushed her damaged fighter toward the bombers. Her weapons were nearly empty. Her shields were gone. She fired her last missiles and destroyed 2 more bombers. But 3 remained, and they were almost at the shelter.eu. Inji did the only thing she could. She accelerated her fighter directly into the lead bomber. The collision destroyed both ships in a ball of fire. The remaining 2 bombers, shocked by her sacrifice, hesitated. That hesitation gave other human pilots time to catch them. They were destroyed before they could drop their weapons. The shelter survived. 6,000 people lived because of Kangunji on the ground. The battle continued. Dr. Cho Minho had set up a special operations center. His team intercepted Valkyrie communications and sent back false information. They made the Valkyrie see enemies that were not there. They spread confusion and fear. "Overlord, there are human forces attacking our position from the north." A Valkyrie commander would report. "We show no forces in the north," Keth would respond. "But our sensors, your sensors are wrong. The humans are playing tricks." But which reports were real and which were false? The Valkyrie could not tell. They began to doubt everything they saw. They began to fear every shadow. 3 weeks passed. The Valkyrie had expected to conquer New Seoul in 3 days. Instead, they had gained almost nothing. Thousands of their soldiers were dead. Dozens of their ships were damaged or destroyed. And still the humans fought. Keth stood on the bridge of his flagship and stared at the planet below. This should have been easy. This should have been another quick victory, another species brought to heel. Instead, it was becoming a nightmare. "Overlord," one of his officers said carefully, "perhaps we should request additional forces. Or consider alternative strategies." Keth turned on him with fury in his red eyes. "You think I should run? You think I should tell the council that I cannot defeat these primitives?" "No, Overlord. I only suggest we will not retreat. We will not show weakness. I will crush these humans if I have to burn this entire planet to ash." But even as he spoke, Keth knew the truth. This was not going as planned. These humans were not like other species. They did not surrender. They did not break. They kept fighting even when they should have given up. He gave the order to pull back and regroup. It was not a retreat, he told himself. It was just a pause to reorganize, but the galaxy saw the truth. For the first time in history, the Valkyrie had failed to conquer a world on their first assault. The news spread quickly. On slave worlds throughout the Dominion, conquered peoples whispered to each other. The Velthari could be stopped. The Velthari could be beaten. On New Sol, the people celebrated grimly. They had won a battle, but not the war. Many had died, including brave Kongyunji. The city was damaged. Supplies were low, but they were still free. Admiral Beak sent a message to the survivors. You have shown the galaxy what humans are made of. You have shown that we do not surrender. You have shown that freedom is worth fighting for. The war is not over, but today we proved that we can win. In the ruins of the capital city, Sergeant Major Ojiwu read the message to her soldiers. They were tired and wounded. They had lost many friends, but they were still fighting, and they were not going to stop. The news of New Sol spread across the galaxy faster than any ship could travel. A small species called humans had stopped a Velthari invasion. They had not won the war, but they had done something no one else had ever done. They had made the Velthari fail. On 100 conquered worlds, slaves whispered the story to each other. They spoke in secret in the dark corners where their masters could not hear. They passed the information carefully. Afraid to hope but unable to stop themselves, the Relians were one of these conquered species. They had once been great builders and thinkers. Then the Velthari came. For 300 years, the Relians had served as slaves. They built ships for the Dominion. They mined resources on dangerous worlds. They died in millions and no one cared. Elder Voss was one of the oldest Relians still alive. He remembered when his people were free. He had waited his entire life for a chance to fight back. Now, finally, he saw that chance. He sent a secret message to Earth. We are the Relians, the message said. We have been slaves of the Velthari for 300 years. We have information that can help you defeat them. We wish to speak with you. Admiral Beak Sujin received the message. She was suspicious at first. It could be a Velthari trap. But Dr. Cho Minho studied the message carefully and believed it was real. The Relians are mentioned in Velthari records, he explained. They were conquered long ago. They have no love for their masters. This could be genuine. Beak decided to take the risk. She sent Ambassador Shin Hana to meet with Elder Voss at a secret location. The meeting was dangerous for both sides. If the Velthari discovered it, the Relians would be destroyed. Shin arrived at a small station hidden in an asteroid field. Elder Voss was waiting for her. He was very old, with pale blue skin and large, sad eyes. He moved slowly, but his mind was sharp. Thank you for coming, he said. I know this is dangerous for you. It is dangerous for you as well, Shin replied. Why are you taking this risk? Voss was quiet for a moment. Because your people have given us hope. For 300 years we believed the Velthari could not be beaten. Now we know that is not true. If you can fight them, perhaps you can defeat them. And if you can defeat them, perhaps we can be free. What information can you offer us? Everything we have. Ship designs, weapon frequencies, fleet positions, communication codes, the locations of their shipyards and supply lines. We have been their slaves for a long time. We have learned much. Shin felt her heart beat faster. This information could change everything. What do you want in return? A promise, Voss said. If you win, you will help us become free. You will help all the conquered peoples become free. The Velthari have enslaved dozens of species. We all want our freedom back. Shin thought about this carefully. It was a big promise, but it was also the right thing to do. I will take your request to our leaders, she said, but I believe they will agree. Humans understand what it means to fight for freedom. The alliance was made. The Relians began sending intelligence to Earth. It was exactly as valuable as Voss had promised. Dr. Cho and his team studied the information day and night. They found weaknesses they had never known about. They learned the secrets that the Velthari had kept hidden for centuries, but the Velthari were not defeated yet. Overlord Keth had regrouped his fleet and was planning a new attack. He was angry and humiliated. The council was asking questions. Other overlords were mocking him. He needed a victory badly. Admiral Beak knew they could not just defend. They needed to attack. They needed to show the Valkyrie that humans could strike back. She called for Commander Yoon Sung-ho. Sung-ho was a special operations officer. He was quiet and serious, with dark eyes that showed nothing of what he was thinking. He had led many dangerous missions and always succeeded. "I have a mission for you," Beak told him. "Using Relian intelligence, we have identified a major Valkyrie shipyard. It is deep in their territory and heavily defended. If we destroy it, we will cripple their ability to build new ships." "How many soldiers do I have?" Sung-ho asked. 20. "We cannot risk more. You will go in secretly, plant explosives, and get out. If you are discovered, there will be no rescue." Sung-ho nodded. He had expected something like this. "When do we leave?" The mission was called Operation Deep Strike. Sung-ho and his team traveled for weeks, hiding their ship among asteroids and debris. They used Relian codes to pass through Valkyrie checkpoints. Finally, they reached the shipyard. It was massive. Dozens of warships were being built there. Thousands of workers moved through the structure. Security was everywhere. Sung-ho studied the station for 2 days, finding patterns and weaknesses. Then he made his plan. His team would enter through a waste disposal port. They would move through maintenance tunnels to reach the main reactor. They would plant their explosives and escape in the confusion. The plan worked perfectly at first. They entered the station without being detected. They moved through the tunnels quietly. They reached the reactor and planted their charges. Then everything went wrong. A Valkyrie patrol found them. Alarms screamed throughout the station. Sung-ho ordered his team to run while he held off the guards. He fought hard, but there were too many. His soldiers escaped, but Sung-ho was captured. The explosives detonated. The reactor exploded. The entire shipyard was destroyed in a massive blast that could be seen from space. 20 warships being built, there were lost. It was a great victory. But Commander Yoon Sung-ho was now a prisoner of Overlord Keth. Keth was furious. He had lost his shipyard. He had lost ships he desperately needed. And now he had a human prisoner. He decided to use Sung-ho to hurt humanity. He broadcast a message across all channels. He showed Sung-ho, beaten and chained. "Humans," Keth announced. "You have destroyed my shipyard. You have killed my soldiers. But I have one of yours. This soldier will be executed publicly in 7 days. If you wish to save him, you must surrender unconditionally. All humans will become slaves of the Dominion. This is your only chance." The galaxy watched and waited. What would the humans do? Would they surrender to save one man? Admiral Beak gathered her commanders. The debate was short. "We do not surrender," she said. "We do not abandon our people. And we do not let our enemies use us." She sent a message back to Keth. It was broadcast on all channels so the entire galaxy could hear. "Overlord Keth, this is Admiral Beak Sujin of the United Earth Coalition. We have received your message. Here is our response. We will not surrender. Not today, not ever. But we will come for our soldier. And when we come, we will not come alone. We will come for Commander Yoon. We will come for the Relians. We will come for every species you have enslaved. You wanted a war with humanity. Now you have one." On conquered worlds throughout the Dominion, slaves heard this message. They heard a species that was willing to fight for freedom, a species that did not abandon its people, a species that promised to free them all. They began to hope. And hope was the most dangerous thing of all. The final battle was coming. The galaxy held its breath. The human fleet gathered at the edge of Valkyrie space. 50 warships, everything Earth could send. They were outnumbered badly. The Valkyrie had over 100 ships defending their home system alone. By every reasonable calculation, this attack should fail, but the humans did not come alone. Ships appeared from slipspace one by one. A Relian cruiser, 2 Kasari destroyers, a Malvan carrier. More and more ships arrived, each one from a species that had been conquered by the Valkyrie. They were old ships, often damaged or poorly armed. But they came anyway. 12 species sent ships. Together with the human fleet, they numbered almost 90 vessels. It was still not enough. But it was something. Admiral Beek-Sojin stood on the bridge of her flagship and watched the Allied ships arrive. She felt pride and fear mixed together. These beings were risking everything because they believed in humanity. She could not let them down. "Send a message to all ships," she ordered. "Tell them, today we fight for freedom. Today we show the galaxy that tyrants can be defeated. Whatever happens, we fight together." Captain Park Do-yeon commanded one of the lead ships. His old crew was with him: Kim Yuna at tactical, Lee Tae-young at communications. They had come a long way from that first encounter with Overlord Keth. Now they were going to finish it. "Are you ready for this?" Yuna asked quietly. Do-yeon thought about all the people who had died. Kang Yoon-ji and her pilots. The soldiers on New Seoul, thousands of others. He thought about Commander Yoon, captured and waiting for rescue. "I'm ready," he said. "Let's end this." The fleet jumped into the Velthry home system. The Battle of the Dominion began. Velthry ships moved to intercept them. The enemy fleet was powerful, with massive warships and heavy weapons. But Admiral Beek had planned carefully. She split her forces into small groups, each one targeting different objectives. They did not try to fight the Velthry line to line. They attacked from every direction at once. Chaos erupted across the system. Ships fired and maneuvered and exploded. The Velthry commanders tried to organize a response, but there were too many threats coming from too many directions. Their rigid tactics could not adapt fast enough. Dr. Cho Minho's information attacks made things worse. False signals confused Velthry sensors. Communications were jammed or replaced with fake orders. Velthry ships sometimes fired on each other by accident. In the middle of the battle, Captain Do-yeon led a strike force toward Keth's flagship. Their mission was to rescue Commander Yoon and to end the war by capturing or killing the Overlord. "We're going to have to fight through their guard ships," Yuna reported. "At least 10 of them between us and the flagship." "Then we fight through," Do-yeon said. "All ships, follow me in." The strike force attacked. They hit the guard ships hard and fast, breaking through before the Velthry could respond. Do-yeon's ship took damage but kept going. They reached the flagship and locked onto its hull. "Boarding teams, go!" Do-yeon ordered. Human soldiers cut through the hull and entered the Velthry ship. Do-yeon led them himself, with Yuna at his side. They fought through corridors filled with enemy troops. The Velthry were bigger and stronger, but the humans were determined. They would not stop. "Yoon is being held on the command deck," Tae-young reported through the top of the ship. They fought their way up, deck by deck. Velthry soldiers fell before them. The humans took casualties too, but they kept moving forward. Finally, they reached the command center. The doors were sealed. "Yuna, open it," Do-yeon said. She worked quickly, using tools and explosives. The doors blew open. They rushed inside. Overlord Keth was waiting for them. He stood in the center of the room, tall and terrible. Commander Yoon was there too, chained to a post. He was badly hurt but alive. "So you came," Keth said. His voice was cold with hate. "You came to die in my ship?" "We came to end this," Do-yeon replied. "Release our soldier. Surrender your fleet. The war is over." Keth laughed. It was an ugly sound. "You think you have won? You have destroyed some ships. You have caused some damage. But the Dominion will survive. We will rebuild. We will come back stronger. And we will burn your worlds to ash." "No," Do-yeon said. "You won't." He looked at the alien that had started all of this. Keth saw humans as weak, as inferior. He could not understand how they had resisted. He could not understand how they kept fighting. "I want you to understand something," Do-yeon said. "Before you die, I want you to know why you lost. Tell me then, human. Tell me how such a small species defeated the mighty Velthry." Do-yeon stepped closer. He was not afraid. "You saw us and thought we were weak because we were small. You thought we would break because other species broke? But you did not know our history. We have spent our entire existence fighting. We fought the ice ages. We fought plagues. We fought each other for thousands of years. We were already the most dangerous thing we had ever met. Keth's red eyes narrowed. You are primitives, animals. We are survivors, Doyan said. We never give up. We never surrender. And we never forget. You attacked us. You tried to enslave us. Now you face the consequences. Keth drew a blade and rushed at Doyan. But Yuna was faster. She fired twice, and the Overlord fell to the deck. He was dead before he hit the floor. Doyan went to Commander Yoon and broke his chains. Can you walk? Yoon smiled weakly. I can now. Outside the flagship, the battle was ending. Without Keth's command, the Velthri fleet fell apart. Some ships surrendered. Others fled. The Dominion's council sent a message asking for terms. Admiral Beak gave them one option: complete surrender and the freedom of all conquered species. They accepted. The war was over. In the weeks that followed, things changed quickly. The Velthri Dominion collapsed. One by one, conquered worlds declared independence. The Relians were free for the first time in 300 years. Elder Voss wept when he heard the news. Humanity was celebrated across the galaxy. They were the species that had done what no one else could do. They had beaten the Velthri. They had freed the slaves, but the humans did not want to rule. They did not want an empire. They wanted to go home. 1 year later, a memorial was built on New Sol. It was a simple stone wall with names carved into it. The names of everyone who had died in the war. Kang Yunji's name was there. So were thousands of others. Admiral Beek Sojin attended the ceremony. She had retired from the Navy. Her hair was whiter now, and she looked tired. But she stood straight and proud as she spoke. These people gave their lives for freedom, she said. Not just our freedom, but the freedom of beings they had never met. They fought because it was right. They died so others could live. We will not forget them. Captain Park Do-yeon was there too. He had also retired, going back to teaching history. But now he had a new chapter to teach. The story of how humanity faced the stars and refused to kneel. Commander Yoon Sung-ho stood beside him. He still walked with a limp from his injuries, but he was smiling. He trained new soldiers now, teaching them the skills that had helped him survive. After the ceremony, they stood together and looked at the memorial. Do you think we did the right thing? Yoon asked. Do-yeon considered the question. They had started a galactic war. Many had died, but many more had been freed. Yes, he said. I think we did. Yuna joined them. She had become a captain now, commanding her own ship. They're calling us heroes across the galaxy, she said. The species that would not surrender. Do-yeon shook his head. We're not heroes. We're just humans. We do what we have always done. We survive. We fight. We keep going. He looked up at the sky. Somewhere out there, new species were hearing about humanity for the first time. They were learning what happened when you attacked humans. They were learning to be careful. Some species should not be underestimated. The galaxy had learned that lesson well. And humanity would make sure they never forgot it.